Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to do a quick video here, just kind of a recent finds video. A couple things I've ordered, actually a number of things that I found, a couple of local stores here over the past couple weeks, and I also kind of figured too that with Record Store Day coming up, there'll probably be a ton of videos with people showing stuff that's come in. So I figured, hey, it's Thanksgiving night. I'm not doing a ton, just kind of sitting here chilling out. So I just do a quick video. So, excuse me. Again, these are just kind of some things that have popped up in the past week or two. I also have a really cool story to share, but maybe I'll save it for next video. We'll see how long this one goes, and if it's not too long, maybe I'll share it at the end. But let me just kind of dive right into it. Start off here with Dave Mason, which is just Like You Never Left. Nice music on vinyl pressing. And again, I can't say a ton about this album at this point in time. I mean, there's 2 or 3 songs I really kind of like off of it, but I haven't really sat down and listened to the whole thing. So this is one I'm looking forward to kind of really familiarizing myself with beyond just a few things that I like off of it. But just kind of, typical 70s, he's not hard rock or anything, just kind of a 70s guy. That's kind of the easiest way to put it. So have a couple of his albums. He has some really good stuff that I do like for sure. Another pickup here, it's kind of a nice one. Diggable Planets. Very nice 2 LP set. I think this originally came out in 1993. This is a reissue that's been out for quite some time, but typically it was running about $30 or so, and I just wasn't willing to pay that much for it. But of course, there's a difference when you're paying for something or buying something with store credit off of trades or stuff you sold on eBay as compared to money out of your own pocket. So, I wasn't willing to spend 30 bucks out of my own pocket, but trade, I was definitely willing to do that. So it was kind of nice to actually get a copy of this. Really, really awesome band or group in the sense that I've always said Diggable Planets is one of the bands in the world of rap and hip hop that actually, I don't know, it's almost like I almost describe it like a marriage. I think like when a group goes into a certain genre, you can say it's about really metal or anything else, but I'm going to say it about hip hop in particular because I think it really applies to the world of rap and hip hop. It's like if you're going to make an album, you're going to become an artist and you're going to dive into rap or hip hop. You're diving into a relationship and a marriage, if you will. So you have a couple of choices. You can either go in there and be selfish and try to take what you can get from it, or you can go in there and actually be someone that tries to help it go to another level, like you should be doing with your partner in a relationship, in my opinion. So that's kind of the way that I really classify rap and hip hop artists. Are you someone that comes along and just tries to do something so you can make your name, your money, but you aren't truly helping the world and the whole concept of hip hop and rap go to the next level, which I think a lot of artists, that's exactly what they do today. They want their fame and their 15 minutes and their cars and their whatever else. They don't really care about the artistry. But Diggable Planets is one of those groups that I say that's exactly what they did. They took hip hop and they made it something better and something to be respected more, quite frankly. So this album is a perfect example of that, in my opinion. And of course, Rebirth of Slick, Cool Like That is kind of what most people tend to know that song by. Definitely my favorite song off of here. All the songs on this are great. Nice 2 LP set. There is one song on here though that dives into some abortion stuff that always rubbed me wrong. And even when it first came out, I never listened to that track because it really just kind of bugged me. So I wish that one wasn't on here. But again, overall, from a standpoint of just the album itself and what they do from a hip hop perspective, freaking amazing. So it's a 2 LP set, not in a gatefold. It's just a regular, one. But one thing that was very cool about this, what I'll mention in case someone's thinking about buying it, is that I put it on my turntable, and I haven't listened to it in forever, so I forgot how the first song started, which there's kind of a long period before really anything kicks in. I put the needle down, and I'm sitting there waiting and waiting, and it's like, okay, okay, did maybe I have the wrong input or something like that, and then the music started to kind of fade in. And so to me, again, that was just kind of that was kind of impressive because it just showed me that the pressing was so nice and so clean that even when I was on the dead wax going into the intro of the song, I couldn't even tell that the vinyl was actually playing. Like, that's how clean and quiet and perfect that it was. So again, just a little 2 cents if you're considering maybe buying the record and kind of the quality of it. Moving right along, another great pickup, Whitesnake Love Hunter. One that I've been wanting for a long time. And again, I just stopped by this store on the way home from work the other day and was kind of flipping through, and I was not expecting this to pop up. And again, it's not a Whitesnake album that just pops up everywhere, and the few times it has for me, they're always in pretty rough condition. And as you can see, that is picture perfect right there. So awesome addition to the Whitesnake collection. So happy to get my hands on that. A couple that I ordered here, Steve Perry, Street Talk, Japanese pressing, as you can see there. Steve Perry's first solo album, I believe, after he left Journey, and definitely my favorite solo album by him. I just love Steve Perry, period. Of course, the two main hits that everyone tends to know off this album is, Oh Sherry and Foolish Heart. Those were really big mainstream hits. But really, for me, the two main tracks off of this are Go Away and Captured by the Moment. I think both of those just, I love this album. Love Steve Perry, love that album. And then I also got a copy of Heart, Bad Animals, which is arguably my favorite album by them, which is naturally because it's kind of the first album I discovered by them. And really cool pressing too. I mean, of course, it sounds great, and it also came with a 7-inch single, which had Barracuda on one side and can't remember what song was on the other side. Nice full fold-out poster, so it was kind of a lot of extras with this album, which was kind of cool. But yeah, fantastic album. And another one of those albums that the cover kind of gives me the creeps, and I can't explain why. But yeah. And I guess as far as tracks and whatnot, I mean, Who You Run To and Alone, those were huge hits. But again, I think one of my favorite songs off of this, which wasn't in any way, shape, or form a hit, was Want You So Bad. That's probably my favorite track off of this album. And then a couple of albums that I picked up, again, stumbled across at a local store here, which was very awesome because I get to take these two out of my Finders Keepers pile or Finders Keepers tab. And for those of you maybe that didn't see the video when I talked about that, as you know, I've been purging my collection for quite some time now, really kind of narrowing things down and cleaning things up. But in the process of doing that, I've been selling a ton of stuff. But there's some things too where it's like, this doesn't fit the standard, but I'm not quite ready to get rid of this yet. Either because I'm still listening to it, I'm worried about maybe how hard it'll be to get another copy, so I'm gonna hold on to this one until then. So I'm still taking it out of my database, but I have a little tab that's labeled as Finders Keepers, which is where these are the records that are no longer in my collection officially, but I'm keeping them until I find another copy if I ever do, type of thing. So only about 25 or so records in there, but one of the ones that was in there was Return of the Living Dead soundtrack. I have original pressing of this where the cover is pretty kind of rough and all that good stuff, but it's just an album that I've always loved. I mean, just a great soundtrack. The movie, too, is freaking awesome. So I found this reissue and just kind of thought, hey, got some trade here, so let's just go ahead and pick this up. So yeah, definitely an awesome soundtrack on here. Everything from, stuff by SSQ, 45 Grave, Party Time, which is probably one of my favorite songs off of here. But, Tonight We'll Make Love Until We Die by SSQ is definitely one of my top songs off of here as well. So freaking phenomenal soundtrack. And another one that I had in the Finders Keepers pile was Trapeze. And again, just stumbled across a beautiful collection here, which is nice. A beautiful collection, beautiful LP. You know, just kind of great 70s rock. I think this came out in 75 or something like that. One cool thing too, even why I found this album, and this kind of goes with the story, and again, I'll tell the story later because time's starting to run a bit long, but I will say this piece. There's a record store that just moved, and they moved into a much bigger space, and one of the cool things that they're doing is they sell a ton of stuff on eBay and Discogs and all of that, and they actually have set up sections in their store now to where stuff they're selling on Discogs you can buy in the store. So, you know, you just grab it, go buy it, and they just immediately take it off of Discogs or whatever else. So it's really, really cool because all of a sudden in this new spot, all that gem stuff that most of these record stores put online, it's starting to be available in the store too, which is really, really awesome. And that's how I kind of picked up that trapeze there. And again, so I'll tell you a bit more about that store. Motorhead. This is Iron Fist. I've been working on my Motorhead CD collection and getting all the studio albums, and I decided I'm gonna go ahead and start kind of doing that with the vinyl too, just because Motorhead's awesome. So that's Iron Fist. Then you got Traffic. This is Last Exit. First time I've ever seen this on vinyl. I mean, I'm sure it's probably pretty common, and there's tons of them out there, and a bunch of you probably have it. It's just I've never stumbled across a copy of it. I have a Japanese CD issue, but I've never stumbled across the vinyl personally, so that was kind of cool. Again, in their Discogs bin, they had this in there too, so very, very awesome. A favorite song is definitely Feeling Good. I think, but between Winwood's vocals and just the eerie nature of that organ that's playing in that song, I mean, it's just a really, really emotional type of song. And I think it was at the Fillmore West is where it was recorded. So very, very awesome Traffic album. And then a couple of kind of simple finds. I went to a record show, this had to be at least 2 or 3 weeks ago, and walked out with one record. Spent a good deal of time there, spent $3, and that was it. Just didn't stumble across much, and I know I'm getting a lot more picky about certain things I'm bringing in too, so that has a lot to do with it, but I only came out with this here, which of course is James Taylor's Greatest Hits. That's just kind of a classic old album that everyone kind of knows about, but again, it was nice finding a clean replacement since I purged my last one, so that's a great one. And then again, you know, I still kind of make sure that I take a dip in the dollar bins every now and then because you just never quite know what pops up. And this is kind of a good example because this is an album that I've been looking for quite some time, which is Gladys Knight and the Pips, Imagination. I've been really searching for a near mint to mint copy of this and stumbled across one in the dollar bin, which was fantastic. You know, I love Gladys Knight. I mean, just one of the queens of soul. I think a lot of times she gets kind of shadowed quite a bit by Aretha Franklin and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Gladys, I mean, she put in her years and did her thing as well. And of course, this is the one that has Midnight Train to Georgia on it, which is a total classic. Then I also came across this in the dollar bin, which was cool. Cat Stevens, Back to Earth. A beautiful mint copy of that. Although I will say I'm probably not going to keep this. Again, I hadn't listened to it in a while, and when I put it on day before yesterday, it just wasn't as good as I remembered it being. You know, so since I'm kind of in the process again of wanting to narrow things down, it's just probably not something I want to put into my collection just for the sake of kind of plugging a hole, if you will. But I mean, it's still a great album. I mean, it's a good album, so to speak. It's just not quite as good as I remember it being. So if anyone actually is in need of a copy of this, you know, I have a nice mint one right here, so just let me know. And the last thing I will show you here are just 4 quick CDs, actually. One of the other things I've been getting into along with the the MoFi and Japanese pressings and the music on vinyl stuff is also really getting into these classic and deluxe edition CDs. Couldn't stand these things before, and all of a sudden I'm just like so in love with them. It's just amazing how, you know, your taste and all that kind of stuff changes. But this is Cream, and everyone knows that album, so I don't have to say anything about that. And I also got a copy of this classic, which is Love. Another really, really cool addition to the collection. And this is not a collector's edition in terms of issue, but this Metallica Master of Puppets, it's kind of an expanded edition CD here. And this is kind of cool too, because, you know, typically, you know, I never was one that really cared much about, oh, this CD has bonus tracks and all this other kind of, like, that was never something that really pushed me to buy a CD or anything of that nature. But more, as I've been getting more into these deluxe and collector's edition CDs, I'm just starting to pay a little more attention to that. And this is one that really, really kind of sparked that for me in terms of the positive nature of it. So on disc 1, you get Master of Puppets, you know, the regular studio album. Disc 3, you have just a ton of various live things, and not just stuff from Master of Puppets, but, you know, everything from Battery to For Who the Bells Toll, Damaging Inc., Seek and Destroy, Am I Evil? So a lot of just various live stuff there. But disc 2 was the one that I thought was really, really cool here, because a bunch of the demos from Master of Puppets is on that disc 2. And it's really cool just kind of sitting back and hearing them in the studio, you know, getting those riffs put together and just kind of going through and doing the demos and talking to each other, and just really hearing the making of some of those songs was just really, really cool. It just really caught me, because again, that was something I was just never that into. And then the very last track on that is an interview that Cliff did with Metal Madness magazine. It's about a 19-minute interview, just talking about them making Master of Puppets and what he thinks about it and what he thinks about these other groups and these trends in metal and blah, blah, blah. And then at the very end, you know, him talking about the tour that was getting ready to come up, which of course is the one that he lost his life in. So, yeah, I mean, those just kind of really, really cool. So I just thought I'd kind of share that in case someone might be interested in grabbing a copy of that. And last but not least, again, just a CD I wanted to show because I was really happy to get it. Triumphant Rat. Triumphant Rat. No, they're definitely a cool band. This has my favorite song by them, which is School Days. So that was, and this is a CD I just don't see pop up that often. So that's why I was kind of excited when I got a copy of it. So, but anyway, okay, yeah, we're at the 18-minute mark. So I'll kind of share my cool story maybe next video. But yeah, hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. As always, let me know what you think, and we will talk to you soon.